I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Starting now on Primetime, raises and bonuses for the top heads of GPA and GWA. Nestor Lecanto will explain. Plus, the issue of compact impact reimbursement was discussed during a congressional hearing in D.C. And the man arrested for the death of Luciana Pali was back in court, answering to new charges. Afternoon and good evening, friends. This is Primetime. I'm Jason Salas, and these are tonight's top headlines. Well, more than $1 million in raises and bonuses for top management officials at the Power and Water Authorities were approved or reaffirmed by the Consolidated Commission on Utilities in a special meeting Tuesday night. Nestor Lecanto has more in our top story.
A December OPA audit questioned about $1.3 million in raises and bonuses, saying the commission had violated the open government law when it approved them. CCU Chairman Joey Duenas admits commissioners did talk about the money during closed-door executive discussions, but he says they would always, with the exception of a meeting in November 2018, announce and vote on the raises afterward during open session. But the public auditor saw it differently.
His view was that you decided in the executive session. You may merely announced it in the open session. And so there's a difference of opinion. So to clarify it for the whole world, we decided to have a meeting and de novo address each and every one of those meetings.
In other words, they discussed the raises and bonuses and approved them all over again in an open session last night. But Duenas also acknowledges that it wasn't just how they gave the raises that drew public concern, is that they gave them in the first place.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to tell you, we pay people what they're worth. The people that we have are competent people, and I would put GPA up and GWA up to any other utility in the Pacific Basin, including Honolulu.
He says they compared similar jurisdictions in the mainland and found top management was making much less than their counterparts and had greater responsibilities. He says the top managers, GPA's John Beneventi and GWA's Miguel Bordallo, who make $225,000 and $175,000 respectively, are only in the 50 and 40 percentile based on national industry standards. Duenas says he understands the public backlash, but stands by their decisions.
I appreciate that people are making salaries that or wages that they look and they say, well, they're making minimum wage. I get that. But the people that we have here are people who have lots of training, lots of education, and lots of skills. Again, two things. You have to pay people what they're worth, and why would we not want to pay our local people what they're worth?
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
All right, thanks so much, Nestor. In other island news tonight, the upcoming renegotiation of the Compacts of Free Association may prove to be the battleground for Guam and Hawaii in a long-standing fight for more fairness in compact impact reimbursement. The rather contentious issue took the spotlight again during a congressional hearing in Washington today.
Governor Leon Guerrero joined other territorial leaders in a hearing before the House Natural Resources Committee. They were invited to testify on the Office of Insular Affairs fiscal year 2021 budget and air out some of their top concerns.
For years, territorial governors sitting in hearings like this have highlighted the costs associated with the Compacts of Free Association. While these bilateral documents help to offset China's growing influence in the Western Pacific and preserve our national security interests, Guam and other affected jurisdictions are left to fund the consequences of unmitigated migration.
Hawaii Representative Ed Case said his states got similar concerns. Hawaii and Guam receive about $14 million a year each in compact reimbursement, despite estimated annual costs of $150 million.
We are not willing to just roll over and accept and ratify, which is Congress's obligation and duty and choice, another set of compacts as they come up for renegotiation unless there is substantial increases in compact funding. Would you agree with that, Governor?
We are very concerned about it. We see it in our public safety, we see it in our health, and we see it in our education. But I also want to say that we welcome our brothers and sisters to help improve their quality of life. But I think federal government has a responsibility to help us along with that, as we're not part of the negotiations and decisions are made without our input.
Governor Leon Guerrero also applauded a House bill that would reimburse GovGuam for earned income tax credit for low-income residents, which is an estimated $60 million a year.
The language will direct the U.S. Treasury to reimburse Guam for 75% of its EITC costs. Mr. St. Nicholas is a sponsor of this bill, and though I believe that Guam and our sister territories should be treated equally with the states by reimbursing us 100% of our costs, H.R. 3300 is a step towards fairness.
But Congressman Case cautions that federal funding may prove scarce if the Trump administration's newly unveiled spending plan is any indication.
Look, this is pretty serious. Yesterday we saw the president's budget, and I assume that you have all taken at least a preliminary look at it. And if you haven't, it is devastating to the Office of Insular Affairs. It is a reduction, again, of somewhere around 20–25%. I'm amazed. I don't understand it. There seems to be some level of actual animus inside somewhere in this administration to federal funding to our territories.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, with the governor in the Beltway, Josh Tenorio, in his role as acting governor, signed into law 2 measures to help improve working conditions for employees across all sectors of Guam. Substitute Bill 200 updates Guam's 3 decades-old workers' compensation policy, authorizing alternative medical facilities for injured staffers, and Bill 201 amending the composition of Workers' Compensation Commission and allowing commission members to appear and participate in meetings and hearings by telephone or by way of video. Well, GPD and other news has released information on a near abduction that took place in the central village of Sinania on Tuesday. Sabrina Salas-Matanani has our next report.
It started off as a normal day for a young girl. Just before 7:30 Tuesday morning, she started making her way to CL Taitano Elementary School.
The student was walking from her home towards the school, and as she made her approach by Chalangumazuas and the four-way stop, an unknown man was situated by the church area and had asked if she wanted candy.
According to police spokesperson Paul Tapau, the man then quickly crossed the street toward the 4th grader, who took off running toward the Sinahanya campus.
As she was running, prior to her fleeing the area, she noted that the male individual appeared to be intoxicated, as she noted beer bottles along the area where he was standing.
The suspect was described as wearing a red shirt, black pants, standing about 5'5" or 5'6" in height, skinny, with dark complexion.
We are working closely with school administrations from the CL Taitano Elementary School and the mayor of Sinahanya, Mayor Robert Huffman. He's providing officers with a lot of possible leads relative to surveillance cameras, and of course working closely with the church and the other government agencies along the property. So we do have personnel reaching out to the community asking if anybody may have witnessed this incident.
This attempted kidnapping follows an incident that occurred on Sunday night in Sinahanya, where a man threw a knife toward a couple driving along Pali Kirin Hickey Drive. A woman was treated for a laceration on the back of her head from a 10-inch knife. And while the search continues for the suspects in both cases, according to Tapau, the young girl is a perfect example of what a child should do if a stranger approaches.
The mindset of this student really prevented something tragic from happening. So she took note, and her situational awareness really did play an important part in understanding what needed to be done. She ran to a safe place. She reported it to authorities, and the proper authorities took the appropriate measures into assuring the safety not just of that student, but the entire student population.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas-Matanani.
Staying with tonight's crime beat, Katner Harry has returned to Superior Court for an arraignment hearing on new charges brought down upon him. Harry was arrested for the homicide of 37-year-old Luciana Pali, having been indicted on aggravated murder and criminal sexual conduct as felony charges, and aggravated assault and strangulation. This afternoon in the courtroom of Judge Jonathan Kwan, Harry pled not guilty to all the charges and waived his right to a speedy trial. His next court appearance is on the 26th in the courtroom of Judge Anita Sokola. Elsewhere, pleading guilty to attempted possession of 50 or more grams of meth with the intent to distribute the substance, 30-year-old Richard Gapassin entered a change of plea this afternoon in federal court. Both parties agreed to have the agreement court documents sealed. However, during his hearing, it was stated that Gapassin faces a minimum of a decade and not more than life in prison and 5 years supervised release. On December 17th of last year, Gapassin was arrested after a drug bust at the Guam main facility post office in Barrigada. Chief Judge Frances Tydinko Gatewood said typically during change of plea hearings, she does ask the defendants to explain their reasoning behind committing the offense, although because the plea agreement is sealed, that includes any factual basis and could not be heard. Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Leon Guerrero did request for a status hearing before any sentencing date could be scheduled, with the next court appearance set for mid-May. Speaking of court, the court has denied Dexter Long's second request for a pretrial release as he faces felony charges for possession of meth with intent to distribute and attempted possession of meth with intent to distribute. He appeared with his attorney Shane Black and a potential third-party custodian, Michael Williams. It was stated in court that Williams and Long have been friends for about 2 years, yet have only spent at most 3 hours together. Williams testified before the court, and while Chief Judge Frances Tydinko Gatewood and the prosecution found the potential third-party custodian to be the government opposes Long's release and argues that Long will not comply with any conditions as he previously violated his release terms and was caught in possession of meth. During the motion hearing this afternoon, Assistant U.S. Attorney Laura Sambataro says, quote, "You can lead a horse to water, but cannot make him drink." Long's attorney responded by saying, "You can make the horse drink under a watchful eye." Since this is Long's second complaint he faces, the court feels he is unsafe to our island community. Well, 2 brothers found guilty by a jury and convicted of various felony charges relative to terrorizing, criminal mischief, and aggravated assault were sentenced this afternoon. Jordan Ratchulap was sentenced to a term of 12 years in prison, a parole term of a half year, and a fine of $3,000. As for Emmanuel Resalap, who faced heavier offenses for slashing his cousin with a machete, he was sentenced to a prison term of 24 years behind bars, a parole term of half a year, and a fine of $5,000. Last June, Emmanuel and Jordan were arrested for using machetes and rocks to attack innocent victims driving by University of Drive in Mingilao after a fight unfolded in the parking lot of the new Best store. And also tonight at about just before 4 p.m. today, the 911 service received a call of a downed power line on Route 17, better known as Cross Island Road, by the Windward Memorial Park and Tarzan Falls. GFD arrived on scene to find power lines down, as I said, as well as auto and grass fires. Units secured the fire and monitored the grass fire until a GPA crew arrived to secure the power line. Fortunately, there were no injuries, with the road temporarily closed while units contained those fires. It's time to take a little break. Stay tuned and keep streaming us because Primetime will continue right after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
In 2019, we raised the bar by launching the first ever lifetime powertrain warranty on new Hyundais. And now we're excited to share that starting February 1st, all new 2020 Jeeps, Ram trucks, and Dodge Performance cars will come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes all your favorites like the Jeep Gladiator and award-winning Ram 1500.
So come on over to Cars Plus and experience what makes us different, like our homegrown culture, state-of-the-art facility, world-class products, and unparalleled value.
Based on the blockbuster that has critics craving, It's the all-new Buffalo Chicken Nacho Fries, topped with shredded chicken and drizzled with tangy buffalo sauce. Bring home this mouth-watering sequel with Taco Bell delivery.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Public Health expects to receive its first batch of coronavirus test kits from the CDC within 2 weeks. Adelope says the necessary equipment has been calibrated at the lab in preparation for the kits. The agency will then be able to test for the virus locally instead of sending these specimens off island. Officials say the health risk remains low for locals, and there are no patients under investigation and still no confirmed cases. The WHO announced the official name for the coronavirus is now COVID-19. Well, in more positive news, another 285 checks for adjudicated war claims will be cut and released. Adelope says recipients should have been contacted today. The checks will be available starting Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the War Claims Processing Center in the former Hakubotan building in Tamuning. What's not picked up will be mailed. Verified claimants must bring a photo ID and their SSN. Those picking up a check on behalf of a claimant must bring a valid photo ID, power of attorney, and verify the claimant's Social Security. More checks are expected to be cut as the Treasury continues verifying claims through the local program. Homebound services are outgoing. To see more about how to get in contact, check out KUAM.com. Well, last week, Friday, an oversight hearing with Parks and Rec was held regarding the status of the Hagåtña and Dedido pools. And yesterday, Committee Chair Senator Kelly Marsh Taitano issued a release outlining the problems identified during that hearing and is requesting corrective action. The release notes a bill submitted by the freshman senator can offer a long-term solution by allowing tax credits to be used for the repair of public pools and prevent recurrent closures. Both the senator and her colleague, Senator Regine Biscoe-Lee, agreed that the Department of Parks and Recreation needs to improve communication with the Oversight Committee.
We do need to hear from the Department of Parks and Rec when they see that they have needs like that, so that the legislature can be looking for answers. We need to be working together in that way, and so you need to be making sure that that information is coming to us.
The hearing's been continued until the 26th, at which time Director Richard Ibanez is asked to provide a plan of action on the sand filtration system, backwatch controller, pool lights, and other components. Well, let's follow up now on a story we ran last night regarding controversial evangelist Reverend Franklin Graham visiting Guam and up north. He's issued the following statement to us, quote, "We plan to continue the tour as scheduled, even if we need to rent farmers' fields to hold the events. I've told the media in the United Kingdom I am not coming to preach against anyone, but rather to preach the gospel, which is for everyone. Everyone's absolutely welcome at these events, regardless of their beliefs or background." That again from Franklin Graham. He has been heavily criticized, though, for his comments against the LGBTQ and Muslim communities. His recent seven-city tour in the UK was canceled by all venues for his homophobic and Islamophobic comments. He's one of the guest speakers at the Guahan Festival of Hope on the 23rd. You can read more on his statement by checking out KUAM.com. Speaking before the Rotary Club of Northern Guam this morning was Melanie Brennan, director for DYA. She shared with the club Youth Affairs mission and the programs that she oversees and is now sharing with the island community.
I want to say although we operate the Youth Correctional Facility, we also operate 3 community resource centers. There's one in Dedido, one in Agate, and one in Manilao. And these community resource centers exist to provide positive youth development opportunities free of charge. So right now they're operating, and after school, kids can go there for free if they're latchkey, for free, and they have many opportunities available to them, such as mentoring, homework assistance, and other cultural activities.
Check out KUAM.com for programming times and dates for her presentation on broadcast. And finally tonight, Capturing Minds in Changing Times is the theme of this year's School Library Conference. It's the 13th annual Librarian Conference being held at GDOE's headquarters over in Tidzin. Public school librarians are coming together to brainstorm how to effectively serve students better and help them achieve their academic goals. Emiluhan Elementary librarian Dolores Kinata chairs the training conference for this year.
Typically, we view librarians as just sitting behind the desk and just waiting for check-in, check-out. But it's so different today, the library and the needs of the students. And so getting together every year, inviting people to come and share resources and ideas, what they're doing in the community.
During the conference, she says, librarians share popular reads, teaching crafts and programs used to enhance everyday practices, and finalizing the school library evaluation system. Stay tuned, sports is next.
What's that? An Alpha Insurance customer needs a claim settled immediately? I'm on it.
In the event of an accident, theft, or breakdown, each of our Alpha Insure agents are trained to go above and beyond.
This is my stop. There she is. Target acquired.
Agent Alpha. Yes!
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Like a snare. Cool down, down by the river with the flowers in your hair. And I know everywhere you go, your love is gonna shine. Your love is gonna shine.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. In studio, Tom Akagami, the guy behind Battle Showcase 4, going down Saturday at the Guam International Raceway drag strip in Jigo. Saturday, what can we expect?
You're going to expect a compressed version of all my favorite motorsports events and urban events happening all in one night.
Now, one of the biggest draws is, of course, the car show battle, where you usually get roughly about 80 registrants a year.
Yeah, we get about 80.
Any new whips or cars we could look out for?
I heard there are some breaking out. And then, you know, with the new craze with the mini trucks and mini vans, the K cars, there's a category for that as well.
I know you went on a trip recently to Japan, saw some fresh ones on your Instagram page.
Yeah.
And so the drag racing side, that's always one where we can see families, husband and wives out there.
Yep, and you know, there's money on the line for the drag racing.
Oh, wow.
So every racer puts in $100, and that goes into a pot, and within their category, winner takes all.
Well, what's some of the fastest times you've seen throughout the last couple of years at the event?
Low 10s, or mid 10s. Yeah, 10-second runs. So.
And this year we're looking at adult beverage garden.
Yes, we have for the first time in this arena of demographic, we have a craft beer garden by Craft Guam, South Pacific Ales. They're going to be breaking out some Modern Times and Three Chiefs.
And on the drifting side, are we seeing any off-island participants, or is it the Guam scene guys and girls going at it?
It is the Guam scene guys, but we do have a special guest who's not actually here for the drifting. He's actually one of our car show judges, David Feliciano. He's the Drift King of Manila. He'll be here judging the cars for the car show, but who knows, he might hop in a car and do some stuff on the strip.
And that's usually a big draw too. That's a little later in the evening.
Yeah.
And the food truck battle. This is one where it looks like 6 already registered for the competition?
That actually filled up pretty quick. 6 slots filled up. There's Matacos, Lynn's, Corn, Sip and Dip, G&G Barbecue, A&L Barbecue. They're going to go head to head on who's got the best food truck and who's got the best food, judged by our special guest judges from Champ Chow's, featuring the fighting foodie Rocky Martinez.
And are there particular dishes they're serving up, or is just whatever your food truck provides?
It's based on the criteria, price points, ease of consumption, things like that.
And for vendors, it's a pretty good atmosphere because for their products they're putting out, this is the crowd to display it to. So who are some of the vendors this year?
You've got some clothing brands called Feature. They're new. And we've also got a group called Blacklist. They're popping up for the first time this year.
For the graffiti battle, how many artists is
It's a one-on-one. So last year's champion, or actually 2 years in a row champion, Ron LaRue. Ron will be taking on, I forgot his tag name. But
is this going to be strictly spray paint?
Yes, but there are some rules. Opaque is the one hosting it for us, and they'll be scoring and judging everything.
And let's talk about some of the other events. I know there's a sound battle.
Yeah, it's a DB bass sound battle for the cars. I believe there's about 8 or 9 vehicles signed up for that. There's 3 categories, and that's hosted by Audio West. It's a new car audio shop down in Antigua.
And as far as DJs, how many listed in that one?
For now, our main guys are DJ J Pogi and DJ Silent. They'll be handling the sounds for the event, and I'm sure we'll have some guest DJs jumping on and doing a DJ battle exhibition. Jeff Jams actually is going to be showing up. He's one of the OG turntablists.
Anything else you want to add? Tickets? Where can people get
tickets? You could grab them at all Shell Foodies locations: Coffee Slut, Audio West, Proline, On Base, MWR ITT, and Anderson ITT are supposed to have them. Opaque and Car Audio Image.
And the CS Coffee?
Both Coffee Slut locations, yeah. Both Agania and in Tumon.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. That's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
Morning, 2 coffees and 4 orders of those new donut sticks.
You must really love these donut sticks.
I do, but they're not for me. They're for them. I will take a coffee, though.
Introducing new cinnamon sugar donut sticks from McCafe, made fresh every morning. It's a little sweet to go with your coffee.
Yellow is our sun. Blue is our ocean. Green are beautiful trees and flowers. Brown is our land and our people.
This is our island. Yes, Lato.
This is my island. This is my island. This is my island. We are Guam!
The people of Guam once again have the power to shape our island's future for the good of the entire community.
The 2020 Census of Guam is an island-wide population count.
A snapshot of Guam that happens just once every 10 years.
A census worker will ask you a number of questions.
You will be counted no matter what language you speak.
Sensiguro na todo siya inipetmizo upang sikreto.
Ang bawat kawani ng 2020 Census of Guam ay nanumpa na habang buhay na poprotektahan ang bawat impormasyong makakalap.
Shape your future. Start here.
Stay with us because birthday shoutouts are in just a moment, but first, regional headlines.
Hafa-day Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
Chairman Ramon B. Camacho states the CNMI Board of Parole are currently understaffed and cutting their hours will make it difficult to keep up their responsibilities.
Parole job is
I will consider it tougher than the police because they deal with the non-convicted people. And they need to be constantly monitored, supervised. You know, at times they unannounced visit because they have the conditions, curfew hour. So the officers sometimes just went there just to do a spot check. And we need that. We want to make sure that they, you know, abide the condition imposed by the board. So again, you know, I humbly ask the leaders not to include the parole officers in the austerity.
Camacho says they have already sent a letter to the governor to consider their request. Currently, there are 35 parolees and only 2 officers. Chief of Parole Nick Regis explains the process of monitoring the parolees.
Most of our parolees right now, with the 29 on our beginning, they're all employed. They've been going to counselings. Basically, they got a full-time job, and then after work they go counseling at either CJC or Hope Recovery. We try as much as possible to even monitor them at night, their activities, and also during weekends. So it kind of hampers a little on our side, but like I said again, that's our responsibility. We do have to keep the community safe and make sure that they're following the federal laws and the local laws.
Regis says the job is hard, but it is their responsibility to keep the community safe.
Never-ending security. We do, like I said, we go on weekends, on holidays, and you know it's really hard. But with the staff that I have right now, we're so motivated because it's part of our job is to make sure that everybody's safe out in the community.
The CNMI Board of Parole does desire to see a staff of at least 4 officers, but with the recent austerity measures, it will likely not happen. Reporting for KSPN, I'm Sally Limis.
For more news, visit SaipanTV.com. For KSPN2 News, I'm Ashley McDowell.
Now, here's what you've been waiting for tonight's Cold Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts. All right, everybody, it is the midweek edition of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club, so here we go. Say it with me now. Happy birthday, leading off to Linda Frank, the one and only, very lovely Linda. Happy birthday from all of your friends and your neighbors, past and current, to Linda, a kind soul with a heart of gold and always generous. Thanks for everything that you do. Happy birthday, Linda. Also, happy birthday to Megan Castillon. Happy birthday blessings to you. Love your familia. And they also send a heart emoji, and that makes it extra, extra special. Also celebrating a birthday today is Christian Manansala, so happy birthday to you, Christian. Alongside Shania Lee Flores, who celebrates birthday sweet 16. Loving you always from mom and the family. And happy birthday to a very special granddaughter, Chirijo Estacio. Happy birthday to you. Birthday number 12, we love you. Say the Atao and the Flores families. Hope each and every one of you had the best birthday ever. Join the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club, won't you? Just go to KUAM.com and click on birthdays. It is so cool. It is free. And you can tell I'm serious when I pronounce free as a 2-syllable word. All right, stay tuned. There's more coming up after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Visit GESIGuam.com or call 647-8111 for more details.